the real recovery is after, like once everything hits you, everything that you've been through. So, my mom just kept pushing to really figure out, what was wrong. That's when they told me I had cancer, and immediately that's when my hair started to fall out. My dad, he actually, I'm just gonna say it, he had to go to jail and he wasn't able to be there. Like, I basically could have died. Like, being told you might not have this, you might not have this. So much was already robbed of me from my childhood. How I felt about myself, how I felt about life, everything was different.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am JustBeinNeceee. I am a mom. I am an entrepreneur, and welcome to my little world. So, first off, I want to say that this topic is very, very sensitive for me. I never really spoke out or really shared the story with anyone. Never really expressed my feelings. So, please bear with me. Before we get started on the story time, make sure you guys subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, share it with anyone who might need to watch this, and I don't know, just leave me some comments, any questions y'all might have, but be gentle with me. That's really all I have to say is be gentle with me. So I am a cancer survivor. I have been in remission for 15 years now. And this is something that is really like a roller coaster ride that I don't think anybody is prepared for. Like, yes, you go through treatment. Yes, you go through recovery, but the real recovery is after, like once everything hits you, everything that you've been through. So let's start from the beginning. I was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was diagnosed when I was 12 years old. I actually had the cancer in my body for over a year. My symptoms I had this really bad pain in my legs. It started in my foot. It would be so bad, like I wouldn't be able to walk. I wasn't able to go to school, and the pain would come and go. Like I just never knew. And this was going on for a year. And because we never knew what was wrong, the cancer started to, travel through my body and make it way up. So then I started to have pain in my knees, pain in my hips. And once it got to my hips and my back, that was towards the end, once I actually got diagnosed and had to go through treatment. It took a whole year because they never knew what was wrong with me. Like, I got so many treatments done, bone marrows. I had to wear a boot. I went to just about every doctor, every hospital in the DMV area, every emergency room possible. Like, I actually got misdiagnosed twice. I was going to get started on certain treatments, but I just, my mom just kept pushing to really figure out, what was wrong. So I finally went to Georgetown University Hospital, and they did, more tests on me, but they were the ones who actually, diagnosed me and found out what was wrong. So listen to this story. It was so crazy how it happened. So I was at home. Like I said, the pain was to the point it really was getting so bad. So one day I was home and the pain was just so bad, my mom had to take me to the hospital. And since I already, was working with Georgetown, she took me to Georgetown. So I got admitted. The next day, they told me they found out what was wrong. That's when they told me I had cancer and all of that. Mind you, I'm 12 years old. I don't really know what cancer is. No one in my family never really went through it, so I have no idea what it is. To me, it just sounds like, a really bad cold and you lose your hair. That was my biggest thing, but little did I know, I was in for a ride. I had to go through 8 months of chemotherapy treatment, and that was honestly the most blinked out time of my life. Like, I swear it was like I was on just like autopilot, you know, just doing what I have to do. I was on different medicines, staying busy, always on the go. Like, I don't know. I remember stuff, but I really don't remember anything. So I'm going to share, I think it's about three different moments that really stood out to me that I, had to go through while I was going through treatment. One of the things was, of course, I lost my hair. I lost my hair. I got treatment the first month. Like, treatment started immediately. Like, I went to the hospital that night for my pain. They diagnosed me the next day. I started treatment that night. So everything moved quickly. I was admitted in the hospital for a month. I stayed there. Like, so when I went that night for the pain, I never went back home. I stayed that whole time for a month straight. When I went home, I did have my hair braided. So when I went home, I took my braids down, and immediately that's when my hair started to fall out. The following month, when I had to go back and get admitted in the hospital for treatment, that's when my hair really was falling out. And my nurse, I had a favorite nurse. She helped me shave my hair because it already, was just like patches falling out. I can remember literally laying down and I used to pull the hair out. It's a weird feeling because I used to feel it like really being pulled out my scalp. I don't know, very weird, very traumatizing. But I had shaved my hair, and yeah, used to wear my head a lot. I never really showed my bald head to anyone unless, I hear my voice get shaky and I like have to keep stopping it. It's because, again, like I said, this is very sensitive for me and I never really spoke out about it. But yeah, I only really showed my head to people who, basically my main family. Like, I don't know, it was something very special to me if I took my head off for you. So yeah, I lost my hair. Something else important that stood out to me while I was getting treatment is my dad. He actually, I'm just gonna say it. He had to go to jail. He did made some decisions in his life, and he did have to go to jail. So, during the beginning time, he was in jail. And he wasn't able to be there. Like, during the first month, the very beginning, he was able to be there. And that was very difficult for me because that was a very difficult time for me because if you know me, you knew I was a daddy's girl. So that was hard as well. Just him not being there. And then even he was able to, get out before he actually had to do his real time. He was able to, be home. And the judge did let him, be home for the remainder of my treatment before he had to actually turn himself in. He was able to be home for the remainder of the time, but he was on house arrest. So, that was still, he was there, but it was just, regardless, it's something different. It was just something different on my behalf. I was already going through a lot. And then, just knowing, that stuff is going on, it was just scary. But then another thing I remember when I went through treatment was when my uncle, he passed, and I wasn't able to make it to his funeral because I had a really bad fever and I was in the ICU. And honestly, during the time, I didn't know how bad it was that, I was in the ICU. But I basically could have died. Like, seriously, I could have died. But like I said, I'm just thinking, I'm fighting a really bad cold. So I'm just doing what I do, making the best of it. And yeah, that was just really bad. I wasn't able to make it to his funeral, and that kind of bothered me as well. And I think those are the main, bad things that I experienced, and that was really heavy on me, during treatment. There was so many great times. When I say so many great times, so many great moments, so many good things I've experienced. Like, I remember the first time showing my dad my head. He did not want to see it for nothing, y'all. Like, when I say he was just like, I didn't show him. I would say maybe like 4 months down the line, that's when I finally showed him my head because he didn't want to see it. So when I finally showed him, that felt good and he was happy. He was crying and he was just rubbing my bald head. But I did, make it through. Obviously, I've made it through my treatment. I am very happy now. Because of the very intense treatment I had, I was told, you're probably not going to have kids. You're going to have heart problems, it's just so many different effects, things that they said about me. But I'm a mom of 3 kids and, people, they wonder why I'm such a good mom. People wonder why I, go over and beyond for my kids, why I love and I protect my kids so much. And that's why, being told you might not have this, you might not have this, I'm going to take, full control and be completely thankful and do what I have to do for any blessing, any gift that God gives me. So much was already robbed of me from my childhood, because of cancer. I refuse to, let it take anything else from me, or any more sadness or put a damper on anything. When I was growing up, I was a cheerleader, I was a dancer, and I was one of the best, one of the best. And that was my future. That was my future. So you only can imagine how much it affected me when I couldn't dance anymore, when I couldn't cheer. That pain for a whole year, I wasn't, I couldn't do anything because I never knew when the pain would just pop up. So I couldn't be on the cheerleading team or none of that. While I was going through treatment, I was homeschooled because, I had to be home so much. I couldn't be around germs, just, that whole transition. I was in the 8th grade. So that whole transition from, middle school to high school, that was I was in the hospital. So that was very different. And then after treatment, once I'm all better and healed up, my bad, y'all. This video is throwing me off because I put too much of my freaking blush came out, but I did finesse it and make it work, but too much came out. But after treatment and I started high school, that was completely different because here it is, I'm okay, I just went through one of the craziest things in my life ever. And here is high school, one of the new craziest times of your life. And it was just very different, adapting, adapting mentally, my self-esteem, how I felt about myself, how I felt about life. Everything was different. And honestly, I didn't really become thankful and I didn't become the person I am until, some years later, because at first I was kind of on a rampage. Oh my gosh, I almost died. So let me live my life, YOLO type stuff. Let me live my life to the fullest because I could die tomorrow. That's how I was. And I was just really, living. I don't regret anything. I don't regret any of it, but that's just how I was. And that's how I was living. But eventually, after I had my kids, and of course I'm getting older, and now that I'm just, thinking over my life, I'm 29 years old now, and just thinking of my life and thinking about, who do I want to be and things I've done in my life, it gives you time to think back and reflect. Like some of you might know, but I was a makeup artist. I opened a makeup business in 2020, right before the pandemic started. I opened my makeup business, and that's how I started doing makeup because of my cancer treatment. After I was finished treatment, I still didn't have hair. I didn't have eyebrows, eyelashes, and all of that. So I wore makeup, and that's how I got into makeup. That's how I started doing makeup. And, and that's why I fell in love with makeup. And I had to think about it because I love makeup, but I don't really love doing it for others. I don't love doing it for clients. I love the beauty of it. I love, how it makes me feel. I love, what it represents. But I didn't really fall in love with doing other people's makeup. And I kind of struggle with that. Like, you love makeup so much, but you don't like doing it for others. And that's when I had to realize why I do love makeup. It's not because of others. It's because of how makeup was there for me when I needed it most. How I was able to give me eyebrows when I didn't have any, when I felt like so like low about myself because I didn't have any hair, how makeup helped me. And that's how I fell in love with makeup. And that's how I thought about this video. I recorded myself doing my makeup and I was like, I want to do a story time. What should I talk about? And that's how I thought about this and this story and how it all relates. And now just saying it, it's like everything in your life, you already know everything in life happens for a reason. There's a reason this happened. There's a reason you go through this. There's a reason you experience that. But now it's like seeing it and speak it, everything in my life really just comes full circle. And it really, it's no reason for me to feel bad about anything or for me to doubt anything about myself because there's a reason. And God got me and He's with me. He's guiding me. He's protecting me. And everything I've been through, it's a reason. And I'm starting to understand it. And that's why I love myself so much. And that's why I love God, because I'm still here. I'm still standing. And I'm still me. So now I'm just really starting to accept my journey and love my journey. Love everything I've been through and love everything about who I am. Because I am what I've been through. And I'm representation of I could be anything. I can conquer anything. As long as I'm focused and I'm pushing, I got this. Keep God first. Man, baby, ain't nothing stopping me. It's nothing stopping my dreams and what I see for myself. And that's just that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. This was my first voiceover, and I enjoyed making this. So if you enjoyed it, please give me a like. Leave me some comments down below. Give me some encouraging words. Subscribe to my channel. Follow me on all my social media accounts. They will be linked in the description box below. And I'll see you guys in my next story time. Bye.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel a chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. 'Cause the love you give, it can't be replaced.